somewhere in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm Shumai Shirashima. Welcome to Doom Business. Now, folks, you may have noticed that I didn't say somewhere hidden under the ground in a bunker. There's a reason for this. Oh, by the way, I have our special guest, Christian's here.
Hello. Yes, you're not in your bunker. We're not in your bunker right now.
Where are we now, would you say? How would you explain this? What do you see around you?
Well, we're above your bunker. It's pretty nice out here. You have a tent set up to protect you from rain, and there has been a lot of rain recently.
Yes. It's 7 p.m. around, 7:24. Nice birds. I should come here more often. I was always stuck down below. Now, the reason why we're up here is because my place actually was flooded. It's this Hawaiian summertime weather.
There's been a lot of rain recently, and that's why you haven't had me over to do another Doom business.
It's been quite a while. Now, I'm to blame for this, really, because I constructed, or I actually planned out the construction of my bunker, and major leakage, mud on my feet, cats dying.
You know, it looks like it was pretty well constructed. But
well, it looked that way.
Maybe you shouldn't have used the duct tape. And was that pieces of foam from, like, packing material?
Well, I order a lot of things from Amazon, so I use what I can get.
So that didn't work out then?
Well, it was working for a little while. 5-6 years this has been going on. I've been doing what I called MacGyvering it. MacGyver was a show back in the day.
Yes,
you know,
I'm familiar with that.
MacGyver, yes. And I was being rather inventive. Directing the water up into the outside world, but after one thing broke, the whole system collapsed. And then all the water just came down and the cats drowned, unfortunately.
Wait, all of them?
All of them. I've had more in the past couple weeks.
Even Hercules?
I don't want to talk about this right now, but I will tell you...
Okay, never mind.
I will tell you that I was able to salvage some of my A&F shirts and my...
You're wearing one right now.
And my beanless cans of stew.
Oh, stew?
I don't like beans in my stew.
No, I don't either. I agree with you.
So...
This is all that's left now. You have,
so now we're
a table.
Up there. Yeah.
You have a nice little tent here protecting you from the rain.
Have my backpack right here.
Now, are you thinking about moving at some point?
Well, I'm not going to be living out in the wild like this for much longer. I have a doghouse here. I'll stay in that for a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't even have a dog. It was for the cats and my parrots.
I never saw your parrots.
Well, I let them free, because now I want to live in there. For a little while. I'm looking for rent that's at least around $300 a month. I'm willing to live with college kids, I guess. I don't like being
male
around
or
people.
Female?
Preferably male. Nothing sexual here. You know, it's just...
Yes, well, we have a lot to talk about this week on the show. Don't we?
Yes.
We have today we're talking about the top 5 famous monsters in history.
And these have to be famous monsters, well-known monsters.
Yeah.
If I were to walk up to a random little girl and say, tell me, I'm going to tell you these 5 monsters. She better say, yes, I understand, I know these monsters.
Right, this is not like...
they're well-known monsters.
This is not like the Chupacabra. Because
No.
even though people like us know what that is, a random person on the street would not know about
If I
that.
walked up to a little girl at some church after school and I said, Chupacabra, Chupacabra, she will look at me strangely because she will not know that monster. Even if I said sassafras or Sasquatch.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe Big Feet.
I mean, the thing is, there's very few movies that have ever been made about Bigfoot
Oh, if
or
I said
Sasquatch.
if I said vampire,
yeah, and
everyone would know that.
That's going to be on our list somewhere.
But we won't say
I
what number.
you.
We won't say what number.
Top 5 famous monsters.
5.
Are you ready?
So this is number 5 right now.
We're going to count
This
down.
is the least known.
Right. So we're going to count down top 5. Number 5.
If I walked up to a little girl in downtown Chinatown and I showed her a picture of an alien,
Yes.
I think she would know.
Now, what kind of alien?
I'm thinking about the short, almond-eyed, black-eye, ebony-eye, Nubian-eyed, gray aliens.
Well, that's the kind of alien that abducted me, so I know about them, obviously.
Yeah. A lot of movies, I mean, back during the 70s and 80s there were movies. I don't know about now.
Sure.
Though. Not nowadays.
Fire in the Sky.
Right, but most
Communion.
people, well, still, I mean, we've seen those.
So we're talking specifically about the Greys, right?
Abductions, cow hatred.
They definitely mutilate cows, which is something that our friend Shania would know about. She wrote a book called Hot Beef Injection,
Yes.
the 100 Greatest Cattle Mutilations of America.
Very, very good late-night reading.
I wanted to buy that book, but they were out of stock, I think. They only take PayPal.
Out of stock.
Ah.
Stock.
If you say UFOs to anybody, they know about that.
They will know that. Yeah.
And the number one thing you think about when you think about UFOs is these gray aliens.
Maybe, because kids nowadays, when they watch a movie with aliens, the aliens don't look like our aliens. Like if you see Independence Day,
Sure.
they look like just really, really old men. Well, actually, no, those looked like mantises, praying mantises.
That's right.
Which actually
yes.
is what an alien pretty much kind of looks like, if you think about it. I think actually in Communion, they made that reference, I think.
Praying mantis.
How the main character as a kid saw a praying mantis, and it haunted him.
The praying mantis does resemble the alien head, in head form only.
Yes. And in The Abyss, same idea. When Ed Harris actually does meet the water aquatic aliens, they look somewhat angelic, but they also had the mantis type head.
Now let's talk about where these aliens are going in our culture right now.
In our culture,
Now we put them at number 5,
think they're
which
sliding.
means they're pretty famous, but they're at the bottom of the top 5.
there has been a lull in their popularity.
Yes.
But if the pundits are correct, then if Obama will disclose information, full disclosure on the aliens, then there is going to be a resurgence. I'm just going to take a wild guess here and say that the little big-eyed aliens will be the ones seen. Obama's going to walk out hand in hand from Area 51 with these aliens.
He'll be holding the alien's hand.
Yes.
Or maybe 2 of them, one in each hand.
Right, he's in the middle, or on the left side.
In the middle, yeah.
And then, most people would say, I believe most people will know, yes, that is an alien.
Now, why do you think that President Obama specifically is going to tell the world about aliens when, for example, President Clinton never did? He knew about it.
Clinton was all into the UFO stuff. It's all...
And you know that
I've seen that
the
YouTube
older
interview.
George Bush knew about it, not the younger one.
Well,
they didn't tell him.
He is a reptilian, after all. I've seen that footage of his eyes changing. It could have been a glitch,
I didn't see that.
but it did look like his eyes were changing.
Send me that link.
Yes, well, just Google it.
I'll search for it on Bing.
But the whole idea of UFO disclosure to begin with, full disclosure, the whole idea that they want to do this gradually is because... Now, I don't want to step on anyone's toes here,
Yes.
but it's like with any war. It's like with any war. They're going to have the aliens be revealed, and they're going to say aliens are bad. They're doing bad things, and this is our reason to attack them.
I see. So we're going to war with the gray aliens.
Yeah, now
then.
why is that? I don't know. There's one theory that we've always been at war. For some reason. It's not for oil.
It's been going on for a long
technology?
time.
Although, but some people say, though, that if they wanted to destroy us, it would be like stepping on an ant. They would have done it a long time ago.
Well, some people say that human beings are like ants in the universe in the sense that...
But we're special ants?
Well, it's not that we're special, it's that it's the opposite. We're not special.
Then why are we still alive?
Imagine a colony of ants living on a tree over, like, by the side of the road somewhere, right? Now, a human being could come along and totally destroy those ants.
Yeah.
But humans just don't even care about the ants. Maybe occasionally, some little kid with a magnifying glass will come around and start burning the ants just for fun, and maybe that's what has happened so far. But no adults care about what happens to some ants on a tree, and I think that's what we are, is we're just some ants on a tree. So we had better not get their attention, because if we do, then they really could destroy us.
Right. You know, I mean, people usually have a bad view of the government. I mean, they're doing things, they're secretive and whatnot. But a part of me, maybe like a big part of me, still believes that they know what's good for us. You know what I mean?
Yes,
kind of. I mean, because they're the ones doing stuff, and I can't do anything, so I'm going to have to believe that they're doing good things. I should trust them in terms of, especially towards aliens.
But, Shuma, you're doing a lot of good things in this world. You're telling people through this show about facts.
Thank you, yes.
You're building a great doomsday bunker.
Yeah, well,
that worked out pretty well.
Yeah,
But you're telling the world about this, and that's very important.
I am.
We can't just assume that the government knows the best thing to do, because...
Well, the ideal situation is to act like how we were acting back in the 60s. Now, I'm not going to say how old I am. Maybe I already did in some episodes, I don't remember. But I prefer not to. But back in the day, we used to have riots, and we used to, because of Vietnam, like we used to hold these big get-togethers and force a change.
I definitely know about this because I've been watching Mad Men recently.
Oh, yes.
Season 6.
You like that show?
The show is better than ever. Well, Season 5 was really good.
It's a very acquired taste, I heard. Although it is popular.
Don't watch it if you're sleepy.
Right.
But it's very good.
It's a chill show. Is it? I don't know.
It is.
I'm waiting for The Walking Dead still. I can't believe I have to wait. How long? Good Lord.
It's coming back next year, right?
I gotta get me a new TV. My computer was also fried.
In the disaster.
Water and electronics do not...
And cats.
I couldn't put it anywhere. Everywhere, like anywhere else in my bunker, it would drip.
Yes?
It's like I have bad luck or something, or... The bunker... It's like the bunker wanted me out. And I guess it worked.
It got it. I'm still hearing sounds, actually, from under the ground here. Just the occasional...
Burping sounds, like the water is settling.
I wasn't going to say burping, but yes, I guess you could say that.
If you hear a scratching sound, you let me know.
All right, I will. So far, it's been
just burping, gurgling
It's definitely
sounds.
been inanimate objects so far.
Yes. It sounds like the hull of a ship. Settling.
So that was number 5.
Yes, aliens. I think, although it's number 5, I think most people would still know it when they see an alien. They would know.
It's a very recognizable subject. When I was a child, I'm not saying how old I am, but when I was a child, I saw the book cover of Whitley Strieber's Communion.
I remember that cover.
In a bookstore, and it scared me.
That's the definition of a good cover, because even I still remember that cover. It was just a face. It didn't even really look like a traditional alien. It still looked rather humanoid-ish. I remember this. Like, it still had not so much of a big eyes, but the nose and mouth were tiny.
Yes, a tiny mouth. To me, it's still iconic, which is why it's number 5. Until Obama walks out in the Oval Office.
No, but he's gonna
holding the hand.
He's gonna have the same alien, exactly.
Or kind of like hugging, somewhat hugging an alien.
Well,
then it will become huge.
Maybe I wasn't making myself clear earlier. But the real point that I was making was, it's all just part of a conspiracy. Like, when he brings out that alien, it's just a show.
Oh, it's part of a trick.
But the thing is, though, the real aliens in the world, in the universe, look like us. The humanoids. That's the real alien.
But that's too complex.
But
we'll cover this in another episode,
But the thing is, like, it's not the one that most people know about.
I mean, there are the Nords.
That's what I mean.
The reptilians, of course. The energy jellyfish. but that's another show. We
Okay.
can't cover all
Okay,
that.
but that was my point, though. Like, Obama will show the world the alien that we know best.
Let's move on. Number 4,
Werewolf.
werewolf.
Yes.
Now, why is werewolf this high on the list?
2 reasons. You say werewolf, everyone will know it.
Werewolf.
Even kids.
Yes.
Even kids and the elderly. And of course, you show them a picture of like a hairy man with that werewolf disease. You know, that's real.
Oh, you mean like the Mexican circus
The
performers?
circus, yeah.
Right, that grow black hair all over their face.
Yes.
Those aren't, though, real werewolves.
No. Side to that, too. A compliment to that little observation you made. Benicio Del Toro,
Yes.
if I'm saying his name correctly. Wonderful actor. He played a wolf boy in the movie Freaks, I believe.
Oh, yes, yes.
That was his first major role, I think. Excellent movie, I'm not knocking it.
It fits him.
It has great physical effects. Great physical effects.
Now,
So,
what makes werewolves so famous? Okay, there's the obvious. If you
Well,
look at the movies, right?
For example, they're in movies a lot.
yes.
For example, yes, that's probably the biggest reason.
Now, of course, we're all thinking about a certain franchise that's been very popular in the past few years. I think you know what I'm talking about. A franchise that has
I
werewolves
don't
and
know.
vampires. I'm talking, of
Oh,
course,
and
about
vampires.
the Underworld series,
Yes.
starring what's her name, Kate.
The hot girl. We just know her as the hot girl.
She's only in those movies. She's not in any other movies.
Kate Beckinsale? Beckinsale.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. The British girl.
Those are the only movies she's ever in.
Well, because it's she has a good agent.
Now, in that movie, the werewolves, they formed a hybrid. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
I don't remember. I will say though that it does have the best werewolf or transformation, turning into a werewolf transformation sequence
Yeah.
that I've ever seen. Now, some people might say, "Oh, well, what about a werewolf in London?"
American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. Now,
was
that
always
one is
known
good
as
too.
the classic werewolf transformation.
Yeah, it's good. Like, it's great, but the way the werewolf looks in the Underworld series is pretty awesome. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. Pretty mean looking. Really, really mean looking. Excellent job in the effects. I'm still not a fan of CG, but that one to me is still pretty cool. That was still pretty cool. And also to Twilight.
Oh,
And
there's that
there-
as well.
I try to block that from my memory, as
Now-
I think we most do.
I'm not a fan of those books or movies. I have seen a trailer for one of the movies, though, and in that trailer, I believe what I saw was
You've seen more than I've seen.
there's there's werewolves in it, and I think they only come in after the second book.
Oh, I don't
or
even
something.
know. I don't know.
No, but okay, in the movie, what happened was, it's a dude. He jumps up in a forest or whatever. So he jumps up, and then he just pops like popcorn, and immediately turns into a giant.
Is that how
wolf.
it works?
I think that there's no long transformation sequence. It's just like boom.
Well, see, now this is a problem. Well, not problem, but this is where we are now in society with the audience. Is like they want things faster.
And I don't know if he keeps his clothes too. Like, are his pants still on when he turns back? I'm not sure.
Oh, this is like the Hulk question all over again. Maybe he's just wearing sweatpants.
Well, I mean, Hulk always keeps his pants on, but
That's a very strange sentence.
when the werewolf turns into a wolf, he obviously doesn't have pants.
Well, what did you see when he jumped in the air and changed?
I think he just turns into a giant, like, CG wolf.
Well, what happens
that
to the
looks
pants?
essentially like a regular wolf.
Were the pants covered
I
with
think
fur?
there's just like a burst of smoke, and it's just instantly changed.
Smoke.
Well, I don't know, or some. I didn't look at this very closely.
I know they're Indians, Native Americans. So,
yes,
like,
that's part of that.
It's
that
just
series.
a part of their, which I think actually is a pretty cool idea, to change into a beast. That's not too bad.
Now, the classic thing in most werewolf fiction is when you turn into the werewolf, your pants get ripped off or whatever, and then when you turn back, you're naked. Right?
Yeah,
You've seen that in many movies.
I've seen that in, I believe, Monster Squad as well. Excellent movie.
And it's almost always like, a guy turns into a werewolf and then wakes up the next morning.
And he's like cold in the rain. He's like shivering.
Right. And he's kind of like curled up a little bit, so you don't really see anything.
Well, they film
but
it
you just
so-
see side butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it always is, right?
But like I said, though, but now it's people want things faster. They don't want to wait or see any side butt. Unless it's a young lad with muscles for the ladies. Like that llama guy, what's his face? I don't remember his face, but he looks like a llama to me.
Now, I'm pretty sure that in Twilight, and someone can correct me on this, I have not seen the movie, only the trailer, but I'm pretty sure that the werewolf guy was clothed, or at least he had pants on, he had jeans, and he just went poof and turned into a wolf with no clothes, and the pants didn't even fall off. Like, I didn't see them, like, tear or come flying off or, like, fall to the ground.
Realistically, yeah.
So I wonder then, when he changes back, is he still wearing the pants then? Like, just magically his human body went into another dimension and then came back again.
Now, see, now that is an interesting idea for something right there. That's what happens to you. You go into another dimension and you just watch, like you're looking through a window at your other self being a wolf.
You're controlling a wolf avatar.
But this is probably too much information for that writer of those books.
Maybe I should just see the movie and see what happens. No,
see all three?
No, I don't think so.
Wait, how much are there?
No.
I don't know. All I know is that they tried to rip off this whole thing with a zombie movie. I don't remember the name of it.
Now, hold on here, because that's coming up on our list here.
We won't say what number it is, but it is coming up.
You know, why don't we actually just move on? Do you have anything else to say about werewolves?
Well, maybe we should have put werewolf at number 5. Because there's really not much to say about a werewolf.
Number 3.
Let's say it together, because it's important.
Okay.
Zombies!
Okay. That's why I told you to put that aside, because it's coming up right now, number 3.
Now, this might be very long of a discussion, so let's just keep it short.
Zombies are huge in pop culture right now.
Let's not sidetrack too much.
And remember, this list is the most famous monsters, not the most powerful monsters.
No.
It's
It's
best
just
monsters.
in popular culture, this is the most famous. One of the most famous.
So yes, there was like a teen romantic zombie movie recently.
It ripped off Twilight, obviously. I got this from Red Letter Media, which is a very good show.
What was it called?
Breath of Life? Second Life?
Or like warm
blood.
Hugging
Warm blood?
body zombie?
Warm bodies.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So someone explained to me, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either, but
trailer.
I've seen the review, so I can tell you a bit.
Here's what I can get from it. In that movie, the guy was a zombie, the romantic male lead.
Yeah, he looks like the lead from
and he falls in love with
Twilight.
A human woman, is that right?
Yeah, and she also looks like Kristen Stewart, I believe her name.
But now here's the thing. In that movie, he was not really... There were different kinds of zombies, right?
Yeah,
There was like the bad zombie,
This
and he was
the
like an
problem.
okay zombie. But if he got killed, then he would become a double zombie, which is the bad zombie, right?
I think so, yes. Yes.
And then what if those zombies got killed? Would they become an even more inhuman, horrible creature?
Dead?
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. Well, I'm guessing you shoot them in the head, and that should end all of it. All versions of them. I'm guessing that does happen in the movie.
Now, in the movie, could the more human-like zombies use guns and actually shoot other zombies?
I don't know. I remember seeing the trailer and seeing one driving like a forklift or something. So eventually they do... The more love they feel... This sounds really stupid, but... The more love they feel, the more human they become, because love... All you need is love.
And they start turning more pinkish rather than being
this is kind of a girl's
white.
Movie, I think.
Well...
I think John Malkovich is in it.
And does he play
the angry
zombie?
dad. The angry military dad.
Okay.
My eyes... See, I'm fine with all of this. Because it sounds like something I'd watch if I was severely stoned. And I don't mean the smoking kind. But once I heard military, my eyes just rolled. Like, it's always, like, the writer has no ideas of like, how to fill, like, a full movie. Because a movie is a long thing to make.
Most people don't think about it that way.
It's
but
really long.
Like a 90-minute movie?
It takes a long time.
A lot of incident has to happen in a 90-minute movie. There has to be usually a lot of characters, or a lot of things have to happen, right?
Yeah, it's longer way. It's a long process. It's like running a marathon, someone said once.
And all they could think of was...
Just add in the military. I mean, even 28 Days Later did this. But they did it more as a tribute, I guess, because that whole movie.
Well, military
was
plus
like a
zombies
tribute
is-
to the old school zombie
Sure, that's a
movies.
classic combination.
Yeah, but they did it really, really well, though. You know, as a side note, if I may, because we spoke about 28 Days Later.
Yes.
There's 28 Days Later by Danny Boyle, and the second movie, 28 Weeks Later, was by someone else, which I heard that was pretty good. Didn't see it yet, but I heard it was pretty good. Danny Boyle said from his horse's mouth that he wants to do a third himself.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting.
And would that be 28 years later, I'm guessing?
Well, it's going backwards, right? So it would be 28
Or months?
hours later? No.
2 1/3 years later, which is 28 months.
So yes, zombies are number 3.
Now, to you, the classic zombie, if we're talking about the classic zombie, and this conversation has been had many times.
Yeah, I prefer the old school walking zombie.
Now, let me ask
the
you...
demonic ones, I guess, that come from hell.
Let me ask you some questions maybe that you haven't heard before. I mean, we've heard about the fast versus slow comparison.
The diseased ones.
But what about, like, what color is your favorite zombie color?
I like the...
Like, are they just really pale, or what, do you like green?
No, green is very disgusting. I like my zombies to be clean. Oh, well, white-skinned, like paper white-skinned,
I see.
with, like, black blood coming from their teeth. Major gingivitis. Hopefully not wearing hobo clothes. You know, the Italians have the very opposite. If you watch Zombie,
Yes?
with no E on the end, by Lucio Fulci, his zombies were just people in mud, pretty much.
Now, is that just
Mud
a limitation in terms
I
of
think
the
so.
production?
But it worked. It worked pretty well.
How did they act?
Slow. Very slow. Like, they kind of just stood there and just really, really slow. Heads tilted.
Yes. Arms in front, or just
To the
arms
side.
down?
To the side.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, he was... well, no, actually, I'm wrong. Actually, Dario Argento and George Romero were good friends. You see, because both of them did their own version of Dawn of the Dead,
Yes.
if you know what I mean. One had the Goblins soundtrack. It's a very good, scary rock band. And George Romero made his own cut. I've never seen the Dario Argento cut, though. Dario Argento, if I may sidetrack for a bit,
Yes?
he needs work. He needs good work.
What is he doing? Is he just retired now?
No, he's still making things. He had this film that came out a few years ago, I believe, where it was about Dracula. I think it starred Rutger Hauer, if I'm saying his name correctly.
Yeah?
You know, from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
The villain. And I was looking at the trailer. You gotta stop filming on digital. Just because it's convenient doesn't mean it's gonna look good.
It's just... So, are you saying it was a bad-looking video?
It was. Like, it looked nothing like Suspiria with the lighting and, film. Now, I'm not knocking digital. I've seen some great
I mean, you can
works.
have...
It's just that maybe
You
he's
can have
not using it.
high-quality photography digitally,
He's probably
but-
just not using it right, or his cinematographer isn't good at using or lighting with digital.
Now, you know what I want to see?
Zombies, yes.
Well, the thing is, and I'll tell you something, there's an offshoot to zombies, right?
Oh, I know where this is going.
Do you know?
You said it before. Go ahead.
Zombies kind of are reanimated corpses by magic of some kind. It's really not scientific how they could move, right? There's no scientific reason why this corpse should be able to walk around. Its muscles shouldn't work, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
But if that's the case...
Now, but you
Then-
mean the out from the grave
Sure,
zombies?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, dead, really undead zombies.
Dead, yeah.
Now, if that's the case, then how about skeletons? A skeleton with no flesh at all walking around is something you don't see that often. I think skeletons should make a comeback
No,
in zombie movies.
I actually had this idea for a book. It was called Exit Skeletons,
Yes.
where the government... You know how, like, fluoride is in our water to help our teeth?
Yes.
Because it's important, apparently. Well, calcium also is important. So I had this idea for a comedy, for a horror comedy, or maybe it could be scary, I don't know, where the government says, well, so now we're going to put more calcium in your water supply and in your shower supply. So then that gives people more calcium, and then our skeletons become consciously aware somehow by magic. And then they rip out of our flesh, and then they run amok.
Now, wait.
Exit skeletons.
Wait a second.
Now, it's going to have to be a comedy because there's a lot of logical questions here that I can't answer.
Where were we?
Zombies, different zombies, why zombies are popular. Why are they popular?
Obviously, if you're ever around a dead body, not even a human, could just be a rat or something.
Dead bodies are real.
They're scary because
And they're
you
real.
always think it's going to come to life, like if you get your hand near it.
I mean, and they do move because of the body still settling. Keyword today is settling.
I think that's just the key. I think sometime back in caveman days, in the very earliest days of human civilization,
I see what you mean.
somebody died, and then somebody else went, oh, well, you know, this is really sad, like this person that I knew died, but it's also creepy, like, I don't want to touch it,
Right.
because, like, I feel like if I get my hand near it, they'll jump up, and that's how the idea of the zombie first came to be, right?
Well, I mean, the fear of dead bodies, I think, goes back to the smell of death, the rotting smell of, ooh, this smells bad. So that thing must be bad for my health. I don't want to get near it.
Yes.
It smells bad. And maybe also seeing someone's head smashed in by a T-Rex. If they did live together, but we know they did not.
Or did they?
Or a saber-toothed tiger or whatever.
There's been a lot of speculation, as you know, about what the true age of the Earth is.
There's only one thing with all of this that you're leading to that I kind of agree on, that I think is interesting. In the Congo, natives see giant creatures.
Yes, they see a brontosaurus type of creature.
Smaller, though, nowadays, but furry. Or, no fur?
I have not heard about it having fur.
But smaller, but long neck, like a naked giraffe.
Like a mini dinosaur.
Like a sexy naked giraffe.
They might still exist deep in the jungle somewhere.
So now that, to me, kind of makes me want to believe a little bit that, alright. Problem is, though, I guess our government or exploration teams can't go down there because it's very dangerous for many reasons.
Yes.
The lost
dinosaurs, for example.
The lost city of Zinj. Tim Curry went there. He's recovering from his heart attack or stroke. Godspeed. But zombies, though. Zombies. I think this is very simple. I got it. I know why they're popular. I got it. Added on to also all that we said just now about dead bodies are gross. The difference between the zombie and all these other creatures, monsters, is that a dead body is real. We know they're real.
Yes.
They're real. Alien, werewolves, and whatever. Still mythology. Like, still... I've never seen one.
I've seen one. I've seen an alien.
Oh,
I'll tell you
right.
that much.
But I have not, though. But
Actually,
everyone...
I also saw a werewolf. That's another time, though. That's another show.
Oh, interesting.
We
Keep
don't
that in
really
mind.
have time to get into that because we still have some things to do.
Okay, well, keep that in mind then. Werewolf. It's a good idea. So anyway, though, yeah, that's my theory on why zombies are popular, because they're real. A dead body is real.
Yes.
Basically, a zombie, if it's anything else, it's just a dead body. Moving or not moving, no one wants to get near it.
That's true. Now, before we move on to the next subject, how are we doing on time, by the way?
8:05?
Yeah. Do you think it's maybe time for a break?
Oh, commercial break.
Because, well, I have to go to the bathroom, so...
Well, this commercial break coming up is actually very close to my heart. In terms of my own situation.
I heard about that about you.
So, enjoy this commercial break, folks. We'll be right back on Doom Business. Friends, recently you've heard about the NSA spying on your private internet explorations. In fact, the whistleblower lived right here in Waipahu, Hawaii, in my backyard, and I didn't even know about it. To protect my sensitive personal information and secret research, I've purchased the Cyber Private Home Faraday Cage. It's a fold-out tent made from high-quality woven metal wires. Put it over your computer, crawl inside it, then enjoy your privacy. Browse through Google Images worry-free. Now, there's a warning here, folks. Do not touch the cage with bare skin, especially if you're all sweaty. In the morning, I want you to visit viewscreenon.com/offer and purchase your Cyber Private Home Faraday Cage. And we're back, folks. Now this is our...
I finished using the bathroom.
You did?
Well, I just kind of peed into the hole where your bunker was. I hope that's okay.
Oh, you didn't see...
You're not going back there, are you?
No, well, it depends. Did you see or hear any creatures, like, or cats?
Something moved in the water.
Slithered?
I might say slithered, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not my cat. Never mind that.
Number 2.
You ready for this?
Okay.
This is the top 5
Yes, number
famous
2.
monsters. Here it comes. Vampires. Now,
Vampires are huge.
this is obvious. So this is number 2, and this is kind of obvious.
Yeah, they're very famous. They're well known. So let's talk about...
I hear talking.
Oh, there's... Don't worry about that.
Where's it coming from?
Just from people walking by the tent here.
So this is what happens in the real world.
There
People
isn't
just
that
walk
much
by.
privacy here because it's a tent.
I've been living in my bunker for so long, I'm just so used to being alone. Alright.
So, what makes vampires so good?
They look like people. We recognize them.
I mean, again, it's the undead thing.
They're like Jesus. Super people that can do magical things.
Now, we don't think of...
They look rather attractive, or they can look attractive.
That's right. It's become, I think ever since Dracula, the classic, it's become a thing that vampires are sophisticated, they're well-dressed.
Well, if you see Nosferatu, that's really not the case.
That's a whole different kind of... That's a scary vampire.
He's like a vampire with cancer.
That's a gross vampire.
But you mean the sexy one with Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Well, that's...
With Gary Oldman.
And of course, you know, Anne Rice popularized that
yes.
in the 1980s. The idea of a vampire wearing frilly... Like
that's the first book.
A frilly shirt and velvety smoking jacket.
Yeah. What time period was that? 17?
I'm not really sure.
17th century? 18th century?
I didn't read that. I only saw a trailer for a movie.
It took place during the Black Plague. So what time was that?
Oh, I guess that would be the 11th century.
Oh, really? I know
Quite
because
a long time ago.
Louis, the character played by Brad Pitt, was eating rats during that time. I guess the implication was the vampires started the Black Death?
How? Because that's what came out of them?
Because of their bad blood? Or they were infecting rats? I don't know. I don't remember. But the second book was what really hits the spot to what you're talking about, because in the second book, Lestat, we all know who that is. I'm not going to get into who that is. The vampire is sleeping under the ground, I believe. I might be wrong here, but basically this is it. And he hears rock music in his house. Like a band just got in there just to play in his house, abandoned house.
He was awakened by the power of rock.
He was in love with the rock music, and he felt that if he became a rock star, he could get his message across to the world about the truth of vampires. I believe that was the story.
Yes.
I don't want no haters here. This is the best of my knowledge, but I think that's pretty much it. So then he became a rock star and sexified.
There's a certain appeal. There's a vampire chic.
Well, it's sexy. It's like cocaine chic.
Exactly.
It's like a fashion thing. I don't know. I don't get the appeal of that.
Now, vampires have been dominating pop culture recently, haven't they?
Yeah, they're still going strong. I mean, it's kind of... I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to last. I still think it'll go on for a long time.
Now, there's no need for us to explain vampires to you, but because I assume
That's
you
how
already know
popular
about it.
That's why it's number 2.
But if you want to do more research, go to Wikipedia and look up an article called, I think it's called List of Vampires, or just go to the vampire page and look for a link under See Also, and it's this list. Someone put together a table, a very complex table. I hope this page still exists. Maybe it was deleted, but
Right. Just cache it.
a complex table comparing all vampires in history and their strengths, their weaknesses, their powers. So you would have, for example, classic Dracula. That's one row in the table. You know, powers, immortality.
Now, is that the
weaknesses, crosses, right?
Is that the Vampire D Dracula as well?
That might have a separate entry because that's a different version.
But
of
it's on that
Dracula.
table, though, I'm guessing.
And then, of course, there's in Castlevania,
Yes.
Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards. Did you know that?
It's an old movie, too. It's
No.
an old movie detail.
Now, in that table, though, it lists all kinds of vampires. Count Chocula is in that list. The Count from Sesame Street. An amazing
His
list.
power is counting.
The Buffy vampires.
So all of the popular ones are there.
Yes, all of them are there.
So guarantee Vampire Hunter D Dracula is also there.
And that's how, you know, in the table, when it lists weaknesses, some of them are weak to sunlight. The Count from Sesame Street is weak to, if you can distract him with counting something, you can run away from him.
Right.
Which, of course, is a common myth going back to the days of ancient witchcraft in Eastern Europe.
That's no joke. Like, actually, some of them can be confused
Right.
by throwing things at them, and they have to count them.
Throw a handful of sand grains or beans on the ground, and they have to stop and count them.
Sand, like a handful of sand.
Exactly.
Like, if I were a vampire, I'd be very, very irritated with that.
So you may not know at all, but yes, Count Von Count from Sesame Street, which is his full name,
Really? I didn't know that.
is actually based on that actual occult mythology.
Was it really? I thought it was just because it was Count.
I don't know. I don't know.
Some of them are also afraid of water.
Now, the Count also has the power to create lightning at will.
Does he?
I don't know. Whenever he laughs or something, there's like lightning and thunder that goes
So he's doing
off.
that consciously.
He must be, right? I mean, whether conscious or unconscious, it's definitely him doing it. Or else it's just a huge coincidence that it always does that when he says that.
I want to see this list. Oh, no, I can't because I don't have the internet.
Oh, yes.
No, I have the
Your
internet,
computer
but
was
I don't
destroyed.
have access. Because that takes power. Yeah.
Vampires.
It's kind of ironic, I think, how the most engaging monster here for us has been number 5.
Well, I have
alien.
personal experience with the alien.
And I find them fascinating. Like, if I had my own list of top favorites, Alien would be number 1.
But we're going by what we
Popular culture.
perceive is popular, the most famous. Now, I'm surprised that Vampire wasn't number 1. So what's number 1?
What was your number 1?
I thought Vampire was number 1. Was that number 2?
What is it now?
Wait, okay. Okay, we have Vampire number 2, right? But that should be number 1, though. What's number 1?
This is a top 5 or 4?
Oh.
I told you
did
5.
We, I
Wait,
think we...
Was it number 1 Frankenstein? That wouldn't make...
It's definitely not Frankenstein. That's not good
I mean,
enough.
if he was on the list, he'd be like number 13 or something.
Hey, do you hear that?
Oh, it's raining.
Good thing we're under this tent.
Yeah.
Oh, demons?
No, that's a separate category in of itself.
What about Jinn, the ancient fire
That's a demon.
spirits?
That's a demon still. Genie.
Should that be number 1? They had a movie, Wishmaster.
Right? Aladdin. Most people won't know that.
What about the Pope Lick monster?
Very few people would know that.
Oh, you think so?
Genie, maybe Genie should be number 1.
That's the Jinn. There was Aladdin.
Do the kid test. If you walked up to a random kid,
Yeah.
at the blood bank, and you had two pictures, one of a vampire, one of Gary Oldman as a vampire, and one as Randy Quaid as Frankenstein. Which would that kid know? Like, could that kid name both monsters just by looking at the pictures? Probably not the Frankenstein monster. Now,
Well, does it have
show them the
bolt in the neck?
No, he didn't. Still, I still don't think a kid would know.
I mean, those would both just be pictures of horrible, like, old white guys, basically.
Basically,
right?
yeah. But now, okay, so throw away the Frankenstein picture because the kid doesn't know that. Keep the vampire picture. Now put up the Wishmaster.
Now, kids know Wishmaster, don't they?
I don't think so. The kid would not know the Wishmaster. But throw that picture away. Keep the vampire picture still up because that's winning. It's winning.
Yes.
Now bring in the genie from Aladdin. And the kid would know. Problem is, it's not a horror figure. Not that genie.
That's not really an accurate depiction of a genie.
It's not. It's actually just... It's just Robin Williams
The
acting like
problem
Robin
is
Williams.
that Robin Williams improvised too much there in that role, and it made it no longer realistic to what an actual djinn or genie was like.
Wishmaster actually is more like it. It's more traditional. You want to hear my Robin Williams impression?
Yes, please.
I'm a genie. I'm a genie. This is a genie. I'm a genie. I'm a genie. That's all I got.
I'm not sure what that was.
Have you ever seen him live? He's very much on drugs.
I would love to see him live.
I'm a genie. Robin Williams. I'm Robin Williams. Robin Williams. Well, anyway.
Well, it's really raining quite a bit out here.
I'll work on it.
It's a good thing we're under this tent.
Yeah. Yeah. See that big lump of wet towels there?
Yes.
Yeah. That was before I had the tent.
A lot of rain coming down right now.
How are you gonna get home? I guess you're just gonna walk it. You could stay here with me.
There's not a lot of room underneath this tent here.
Well, there's a doghouse there. You could take it for tonight. Although I wouldn't go in there right now because it's a bit moist on the ground. The ground is a bit moist. And there's earthworms. But they're harmless.
Well, they're mostly harmless.
Well, so what then? So we ain't got no number one? Is this correct?
Well, unless we can
just
think
make
of...
vampires number one.
Okay, vampires number 1 and 2.
So actually we just have 4. No, let's keep it at 5.
Yes, top 5.
Just bump everyone up.
Let's insert something as number 5.
The Djinn, then. Or Robin Williams can be number 5.
That's not a monster.
Oh, is it?
Well, in a way.
Oh, isn't it?
In a way. He is famous.
Have you seen that one movie where he's the doctor, and he's just terrible? He's like a clown doctor. That's scary.
I didn't see
What was
that.
it, Dr. Giggles? No, what was that movie? It was like a true story, supposedly. Well, anyway.
Awakenings.
No, that's a good movie. I cried twice. Then again, I was drunk. Actually, ironically enough, somehow ironically,
Yes?
right when I was watching that movie, in the middle of my crying, that's when I heard the leak start happening. And then it all just went to hell.
Okay, there is no number 1 then. No number 1.
Alright, if you want to keep it real. So it's just alien, werewolf, zombie, vampire,
I'm good
and
with that list.
nothing. Well, you know what?
In many ways, nothing is the most frightening thing of all.
What if it's humans? Like in I Am Legend, how the human being was the new legend.
Humans are the worst monster.
Well, let's make it humans. There we go.
Okay, yeah, alright, I'll write that down. Humans.
Yes. You didn't write anything down. You just made it look like you were writing something down.
Okay, hold on. Let me find the right page. Humans.
Well, folks, that was our list. Top 5. Yes, 5. Now, if you like what I like, if you like what we like,
pro wrestling?
then we're assuming that you might also... There's a small sliver of a chance, there's a small centipede of a chance that you might also like wrestling. So, if you don't like wrestling, I would say turn off now, or stay with us and hear some news, some wrestling news. Now, I haven't been keeping track because of my various quote-unquote research, my private explorations that I do online.
I heard about that.
On Google Images. I don't download anything. You don't have to nowadays. It's dangerous anyway, because they're watching you.
Prism.
They're watching your downloads. But I would like to hear some wrestling news. Now, a little backstory here on me first.
Yes.
Is I was a big fan of wrestling during the high point of the late 90s.
Sure. The Attitude Era.
Yeah, very, very. It was
Really?
just good drama, good cliffhangers. Kept you wanting to watch more and more the next week.
Yes.
Especially the Rock versus Triple H storyline, because The Rock just could not win. He kept getting screwed over. That's what you do. You have a hero that wants something, but you don't give it to him.
Yes.
That was good. And then it was him versus Stone Cold, and that was still pretty good. So, wrestling news. What's going on with wrestling news? I want to know, because I stopped watching because it got bad after a while. Many, many years. I have friends. I had friends back in the world that loved wrestling as much as I did. And we all stopped watching it around the same time. I don't know exactly what year it was. There's an exact year where it got bad, so bad that we all just said, enough, I can't watch anymore. Yes. And now we're angry.
And when we're talking about wrestling, to be clear, we're talking mostly about WWE, right? Because they're the big company.
Yeah.
They're the one kind of dominating the national and international discourse about pro wrestling in the past several years. And yeah, I think after the boom period of the late 90s, somewhere around 2000, 2001, what happened was they won. They beat WCW. They also absorbed ECW and bought out those companies and completely absorbed their old tape libraries. They became the wrestling company. And that's when it started getting bad because they had no competition.
I heard that in business, competition is a very good thing.
And also, Vince McMahon, I mean, imagine this. There's a company controlling 90% of the media, the mass media, of this entire genre, right? You couldn't say the same thing about movies, for example, right? In movies, there are several different major movie studios.
Yeah.
Here, there's only one guy controlling a large majority of the mass media pertaining to wrestling, and that company is being controlled by a madman who is kind of...
Well, he's eccentric.
He has a lot of mental problems.
There's one that you said where he doesn't like it when people sneeze?
That's right. According to reports from inside sources, mostly former writers who worked for the company briefly in the past few years, they would go to meetings with him, they'd plan out storylines and so on, and these writers claim that Vince McMahon hates sneezing because he feels it shows weakness. It shows that you're not in control of your own body.
Does he sneeze?
For that 1 second. Well, there is a story. There's a story that happened where apparently after berating someone else for sneezing in a meeting, a few weeks later, Vince McMahon had a cold. And he actually did sneeze during a different meeting. And then he looked really embarrassed. And, of course, nobody said anything, because no one's going to say anything to him. I guess nothing came of that other than the fact that he seemed embarrassed. So he hates sneezing. He hates smoking also because...
Well, smoking's understandable.
That's an addiction, of course. And, again, it shows that you're not in control of your body. He hates it when anyone is injured.
Really? Especially in wrestling?
Yeah, in wrestling, which injuries happen all the time, of course. So if someone has a concussion or
their leg bends the wrong way.
Yeah.
I remember that video.
Now, he won't yell at you for that. He can't really yell at you for that, but he will resent you for having been injured. because in his mind, he resents people who, again, have a weak body.
Interesting.
Yes.
You know, he is a very buff individual for his age.
And some would say that's why John Cena has done so well in the past 10 years, becoming the face of the company, because Cena either has been very lucky, he has not had a major injury.
Really? Not even a sprained ankle or... Because even Stone Cold had his little
I'm sure he's had
there.
many smaller injuries, but he's always worked through them and been the tough guy who's saying, I don't need time off. I'll just work through this injury.
Now, this brings up a good topic here. Cena himself. Seen it. I've seen Cena.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of him. Now, why am I not a fan of him? First of all, I don't like mixing white rap, with wrestling. Something about him, also, like, he's too much of a goody-goody. I like my anti-heroes.
Sure, yes, that's true.
Like, he's, like, saluting and all that. Like, I don't know if he walked in with the American flag once.
Well, he became a fake Marine at some point.
Yeah, he was in a movie called Marine, I believe.
Yes, and so after that time, when he was in that WWE-produced movie, The Marine, after that time, he started wearing, like, dog tags and saluting like he was a Marine, even though, of course, he wasn't one. And that, of course, superseded his old gimmick of being a rapper.
Yeah, so he doesn't do that no more.
Yes, they got rid of that.
But he still wears those damn shorts.
That's his trademark, is wearing jean shorts.
It really hurts me.
Although sometimes, I think he has upgraded to wearing...
at least pants or something.
No, just different kind of shorts.
Oh,
I think he now wears sort of olive green, quasi-military-ish shorts.
Oh, yeah. I think we sell those shorts.
Yeah.
Here in the islands.
Now, I'm not talking about super short shorts like what Magnum P.I. used to wear.
They don't know who that is.
Back in the 80s, Magnum P.I., being a former Navy SEAL, would wear authentic Navy exercise garb on the show Magnum P.I., and that authentic garb was extremely short shorts.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember the look.
But that was authentic to the military, you know? And, of course, it was the 80s, so that was considered normal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, today, of course, Cena, of course, wears what we consider normal today, long shorts.
Very long. It's like basically pants. You know what? I saw someone in the world today. A young youth.
Yes.
Frolicking somewhere near me.
Go on.
And this youth had a shirt that was so long, it was basically a dress. It's a t-shirt.
Yes.
I've been away for so long, I've lost touch with the styles. But it was very... What's that word where it takes away your masculinity? It was very...
Effeminate?
Yes. From what I remember seeing of Cena, he reminds me of a girly man. And that's not who I want to be when I'm seeing a hero, because this is why we like heroes, because we want to be that hero, and I don't want to be Cena.
It's true that Cena has to downplay his masculinity. Now, of course, he is a muscular man.
And the violence, too, of course, all over, yes.
But you see, the key is kids love him, and he's playing into that. Now, what is it about being a boy, a kid? You have to be not manly because you're underdeveloped, right?
Yeah.
You can't be. He can't have a beard or something.
No, right.
Right.
So kids like that good guy because they're kids. But when you get older, though, this is why a lot of the older folks don't like Cena.
That's right.
There are a lot of reasons why.
A lot of the hardcore wrestling audience has really gone away.
They're still kind of like shambling around in groups on YouTube in terms of like just ranting about old days.
Yes.
The old days being, of course, like the early 2000s. Even with all this hatred that I feel towards wrestling, because I want it.
Yes.
I want to watch it. But I just can't because it's so boring. But it doesn't matter, though, because like in the last WrestleMania, they made, their biggest opening ever in terms of ticket sales?
Well, in terms of possibly ticket sales and also in terms of pay-per-view buys.
Pay-per-view? That's still around?
It is still on pay-per-view, yes.
Wow.
And they did very well in the last WrestleMania. perhaps because they raise the prices on everything, right?
I see.
So now it costs more, even if fewer people are buying it. But honestly, past 3 years at WrestleMania, The Rock has been there. And
he's bringing in the dough.
he's drawn in a larger audience.
Wrestling, I don't remember any wrestling going on nowadays. Or anything impressive, like RVD. Wherever he is. I'm sure he's not around anymore.
Well, I think at last check, he recently was working in TNA.
Yeah, last check.
Which is the actual name of the company.
Now, is that for tits and ass?
No. Well, it stands for Total Nonstop Wrestling, although I think obviously they wanted to have those initials. A really stupid name for a company. They're the current number 2 wrestling company in the U.S.
This is one that McMahon does not own.
Right.
Why is that?
It's
He's
never
easily bought them out.
Well, it would
easily buy them
It would
out.
not be worth his money, probably. They're not a threat to him, really.
Yeah.
They have a show on Spike TV, obviously. A weekly show, 2 hours long. About 1 million people watch it every week.
Oh, nice.
Which is
that sounds good.
A significant fraction, I guess, of people who watch wrestling today. But they're really not as popular overall. They don't have the international reach and the corporate reach that WWE has around the world. That's where RVD most recently was wrestling. I think he's left them now. Of course, RVD is getting old. He can't do as much now.
Right. But old in wrestling terms is like what? Close to 40?
Over 40
something?
probably.
Yeah. He didn't do any... It was more like... It was like he was doing smooth kung fu. Like, nicely choreographed kung fu in the ring, and that was cool. That was good. And then people would clap. Right? Because it was a nice show of hands just flying around. But yeah, you see, that's also why I don't like Cena in terms of story, because I don't really sense that he really wants anything, especially now that he has the belt. I remember actually when The Rock did get the belt eventually, my interest went down a little bit. It's like at the end, story is over, end of the movie, the hero has what he wants.
Yeah.
And Cena, to me, doesn't have a strong passion for, like, what does he want? What does he want now? Or at least give me a bad guy that really wants something too.
Yeah.
Like how Cobra Commander, to me, was always my favorite, because he always had some kind of scheme to get something, because he had a passion for something. And I never liked G.I. Joe because they were always trying to stop the guy from succeeding. They were just like the police. Spoiler one's fun. Well, thank you for that wrestling update. But we'll keep doing the show out in nature.
Yes.
Please, we'll set up a big tent.
This tent is blowing around quite a bit. It's getting a little bit windy.
Sorry, just hold on to this pole here. Hold on to this side. Just keep it down. Thank you for coming.
Yes, well, thank you, Shumai.
Thank you for that wrestling update. Now, it's getting really windy here, so we should get going. Oh, thank you for watching, or listening. This has been Doom Business.
And that was Doom Business, your weekly dose of the paranormal. The time is now 1:30 a.m. Hey kids, you like basketball? Well, how about exercising your brain instead? Stay tuned for Hip Mozart with Shades McFadden, spelled Fatten.